Stuka Joe here. Today we'll be filming a full mission of Zeppelin Raider, and I'll be using these sequence of play cards that I've developed for the game. Also, I'll be filming this video in a completely different way from my other videos, using still photography and overlaying the narration that you are hearing now. So let me know what you think about this new format. I will be also using some props like this mini Molotov. And we are ready to begin. We have all the materials on the table, and we begin with May 1915. That's where the game starts. We have a P-class Zeppelin that only requires 1 prestige point, and that's what you start with in the game. And here's the display for our Zeppelin. And we have to determine our Commandant's name. And we roll on the Commandant name chart. First, we roll for the given name, 2d6, and we read as 2 digits, 31. So it's Herbert, and now we roll for Herbert's surname, and it is 26, Friemel. So Herbert Friemel is our Commandant, and he will start with the lowest rank with which you can start in the game, Oberleutnant Z. And our crew is of normal quality, that is a trained crew, and we mark it in the Zeppelin display. Now we have to determine our starting base, and there are 6 possibilities. We place each of the 6 base chits in the opaque cup, and we draw one. And our base will be Tondern, that's near Denmark. So we place our Zeppelin marker with the letter P in Tondern, and we are ready to begin the game. And we start with the first phase of the game now, mission assignment, and we will be rolling on the mission assignment chart. And we see here that we use the 1915 column, and we roll 2d6, and the result is Scouting E, and E is a sea area that we will be going after, and we have to reach that area, which is 4 areas away from our airfield. So we place the mission scouting marker there. Next is takeoff weather check. So we check the weather, and we again roll in the spring column, and it is a 4, light rain. And we place the light rain marker in the appropriate space for current weather. And you see that the light rain marker has a -1, meaning that it will cause a descent in altitude of 1 unless we use some ballast to counteract that, which we will do very soon. But first we have to load our Zeppelin. And our Zeppelin can carry 4 bombs, but it can carry less bombs in order to increase its ballast. 2 bombs equal 1 point of ballast. So we will carry only 2 bombs instead of 4, and that gives us 1 extra point of ballast. And we mark it by placing the ballast marker in the extra ballast box. And now we take off and automatically gain 1 altitude for dynamic lift. But because of the light rain, we do not gain that altitude unless we drop some ballast, which we do now, and we move the current ballast marker to the 6 box. And now we increase our altitude from ground level to 1. And altitude is everything for Zeppelin survival. Next is travel and adjust altitude. Now we travel 1 box from Tondern into area D, and for each box traveled, unless you're traveling against heavy wind, we spend half a unit of fuel. We start the game with 8, we flip the marker to its backside, now we have 7.5 points of fuel left. Also, we want to increase our altitude, so we drop ballast now to 5 and increase altitude to 2. We're still in the low band. Now it's mechanical failure check time, and we roll on the random mechanical breakdown table. 2d6. The roll is a 5, so nothing breaks down at this time. Next is weather/wind change check, and the weather and wind can change once per mission. So we locate the spring column and roll 2d6, 11. So the weather is now rain. So it changes from light rain to rain, and rain has a -2, and that increases the weight on our aircraft, and we will lose 1 level of altitude unless we counteract the same with ballast, and we will spend another point of ballast. So we're at 4, and that allows us to remain at altitude 2. And now we roll for encounters, and we will be rolling on the scouting encounters table. We roll 2d6, and the result is a 10, ship group, and now we have to make a decision whether we get closer to whatever's down there to see if we can take a better look, in which case whatever is down there will be able to fire at us with anti-aircraft fire if it has anti-aircraft guns, or we can scout from where we are with a +1 penalty, and that's what we'll do. So we roll 2d6, and the result is a modified 11, a probable ID, so there is no encounter, so we do not go through the bombing scouting routine or resolve encounters. We're back to travel and adjust altitude. Now we move from our current area to Area C. Next, we decide if we want to increase altitude. We're currently at altitude 2. We decide that we will go to altitude 3, so we have to throw some ballast, and we reduce ballast to 3. Now we've changed to the medium band, and that causes our Zeppelin to automatically vent gas. The Zeppelin has 5 gas cells, each of 3 units of gas. We have to vent one of those units, and that causes our Zeppelin to go down by 1 level unless we counteract that by removing some weight. That is, by reducing ballast or removing 2 bombs, which equal 1 point of ballast. We decide to keep the bombs, so we reduce ballast to 2, and that way we can stay at altitude 3. Now we moved 1 box, so we have to mark fuel, which is now at 7. Next is mechanical failure check. And we roll 2d6. The roll is a 9, so nothing is broken down for now. We skip the weather wind change check because we already had a change of weather. We roll for encounters. We roll 2d6. 9, and a possible ship. So now we decide, do we want to close in to take a better look with the risk of being fired upon, or we look from where we are with the +1 penalty? We will look from where we are. So we roll 2d6 and add 1. And the roll is a 6 modified to a 7, probable ID. If it would have been a 5, it would have been a positive ID. So there's no bombing, scouting, and no encounters. And we go again to travel and adjust altitude. And we move now from our present location to Area F. And as to fuel, we reduced fuel now by half a point, and we have 6.5 points of fuel left. Now we want to increase our altitude to 4, and we take the decision to do so. And now we have to remove weight. Our ballast is at 2. We don't want to remove any bombs, so ballast is reduced to 1. And from now on, we have to keep an eye on that because that's our last point of ballast. on to possible mechanical failure. We roll 2d6. The roll is a 7. Nothing breaks down for now. Now we roll for a possible encounter. An 8. No encounters. So again, we go to travel and adjust altitude. And from our present position, we finally move to the space where our scouting mission has taken us. So we've accomplished the objective of reaching our space. We will not get a victory point unless we positively identify something. We reduce fuel now, and we are currently at 6. And we now check for any mechanical breakdown. We roll 2d6, and the result is a 10. We have an engine failure. And now we have to mark that engine. Luckily, we have crew boxes that are available to repair at the end of the turn. But for now, we have to place a damage marker in our engine 1 box. And if we lose 2 engines, we will have serious consequences to deal with in the game. We roll for encounters. The result is 5. We encounter nothing. And now this is the end of the turn. So now one of our crew units, any one of them, is assigned to try to repair that engine. We roll 1d6. Result is a 5. It is non-repairable. So that engine is out for the rest of the mission, and we flip the damage marker to the inoperable side. So we still have 3 engines left. But as you can see, with 1 engine out, we will have a penalty when anti-aircraft fire ensues in air combat. Now we go to travel and adjust altitude. And now we move into area F. We adjust fuel by reducing it by half a point. And now we're at 5. And notice the notation +1. Because we've burned 4 full units of fuel, we've lost weight, enough weight to increase our altitude by 1. So our altitude increases to 5, which is the ceiling for this particular Zeppelin model. Now we roll for random mechanical breakdown. The result is a 3, and our wireless is down. And this is the chance of repairing it at the end of the turn. For now, we have to mark our wireless as damaged. Next, we go to possible encounters, and we roll 2d6. The result is a 4, no encounters. Now this is the end of the turn, so we assign one of our crew units to repair the wireless. So we roll 1d6. The result is a 1. The wireless is fixed. And we remove the damage marker from the display. Now again to travel and adjust altitude. We move from our present location to area G. We consumed half a point of fuel, so we have 4.5 left. We roll for a random mechanical breakdown. Roll is an 8, no further breakdown for now. And now we roll for a possible encounter. Roll is an 8, nothing is encountered. And again, to travel and adjust altitude. And we move from our present location into area D. We're just 1 move away from our base. We roll for possible random breakdowns. The roll is a 9, nothing breaks down. And we roll for possible encounters. The roll is a 9. Maybe we can encounter a ship. And this time we decide to close in. And if it's a ship, we'll receive any anti-aircraft fire depending on what type of a ship. So we have a -2 die roll modifier, which makes a positive ID more likely. But the roll is a 12 modified to a 10 probable ID, so there's no encounter, and we again go to travel and adjust altitude. And we reach Tondern Base. We had enough fuel to do so. And by reaching base, we now descend to ground level, and our mission is over. So you saw how our Zeppelin reached its objective, which was Area E, but during the course of the mission, our Zeppelin was not able to identify any ship. And in order for a scouting mission to be successful, that has to happen in addition to reaching the objective area. So this mission was a failure. And that completes this mission in Zeppelin Raider. And of course, this game shines when you play several missions in a campaign and you see your crew gain experience and tackle more challenging targets like bombing London. So, I hope this video has given you a good idea of the flow of the game and what the game has to offer. This is Stuka Joe signing off for now. Thanks for watching.